It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and welcome to this very special session that we're going to have regarding the one topic that I believe will shift your personal career for those that are still career professionals. It will certainly shift your life if you allow it. It'll certainly shift your relationships, and just this one idea or mastering this one area or just getting a little bit better in this one area will skyrocket your business and all of the potential impact that you want to have in the world. And that one area, well, is storytelling, specifically creative storytelling. And one of my 12 rules for life is that systems beat goals every single time. So I believe once you learn the system, once you implement the system, it'll surpass any goal that you have. Now, this conversation is not about me. It's really all about you. So I have my notes and everything in front of me, so I'll stay on track. So let's just jump right in right now. Let's just do a deep dive and welcome you aboard to the conversation we're going to have today, which is, once I get it pulled up, creative storytelling. We're going to have a conversation around creative storytelling, the 4-step Acre formula to bring your content to life. And if you're wondering right now as you're listening, Shay, who is this conversation for? Like, really, the one idea I want you to know and have up front is that stories inspire influence. And they also engage. So, at the end of the day, your story is going to inspire someone. It's going to influence them to do something, but it's also going to engage them. And at the end of the day, isn't that really what you're looking for? Let me just share the science, if I can, around or science behind stories. Because, as you're listening, you might be thinking, Shay, can you break that thing down for me? Absolutely, be happy to do that. Based on the research by Princeton neuroscientist Yuri Hassan, he says this: a story is the only way to activate parts in the brain so that a listener turns the story into their own idea or experience. Let me say that one more time. Turn into their own idea or experience. In storytelling or in conversation, isn't that what you want at the end of the day? You're not trying to convince someone to do something, but you want them to hear something and say, I've got an idea from that. Or, walk away and it's like, man, what an experience. At the end of the day, we're going to show you how you can do that from a scientific perspective, which I think is going to be pretty cool, by the way. I can't wait to get to that, by the way. And then the second point that I want to make is Lonnie. Now, Lonnie Pearson, in her Harvard Business Review article, The Science Behind the Art of Storytelling, says scientists are discovering the chemicals like cortisol, dopamine, oxytocin that are released in the brain when they are told a story. So wait a minute, Shay, what you're telling me, I think what I'm hearing here is that there's a whole scientific approach behind storytelling. And the answer to that question is yes, there is. And we're going to do a deep dive into that in this conversation. So if you're wondering who should pay attention, is this even for me? Do I need to move on? Let me just share up front that if you're someone that's been doing this for a number of years, and you're really good, and you've had some advanced training, but the only thing holding you back is you suffer from pre-presentation anxiety. That means before you sit down to record your video, if I can say it like that, before you find yourself in a position that you're about to give a major talk, or for some of you who participate in the Making of an Entrepreneur or the Comeback Champion Summit or any of our media platforms, you kind of go through this whole nervousness. I want you to pay attention. I want you to tune in, because one of the reasons you're doing that is that maybe you're relying on your gut instinct, and that's pretty good, but we're going to introduce a formula. And will it work for all of you? Well, most of you, and some of you, it'll be a good reminder. The second concept idea that I want to share is this conversation with a person who's very green as well. So maybe you're less than 3 years, less than 5 years doing this professionally, getting paid, building your digital media empire, doing what I'm going to later call digital storytelling. So you struggle with audience engagement. Like, okay, Shay, I can do what I do really well. I can tell my story, but the part that's really I'm struggling with is, how do I get them engaged? Like, how do I bring them in? So you, as you're listening right now, I want you to lean in, because even if you are able to engage, I believe that you had the potential inside of you to go to an entirely different level. Like right now, inside of you, you only showed up And you're watching right now and you're tuned in because one, you never stop learning. And number two, there's potential inside of you to go to a whole nother level. And together, we're going to do that. So I'm looking forward to that conversation, by the way. This is also for you if you find yourself in a position of time where you just kind of forget what you were going to say. Now, that can happen to any of us. I'm not saying that you can't memorize the script. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that you get these quote unquote, brain, I guess they call them farts often. But what I am saying is there is a way that not only can you know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it, but you can be more powerful and more persuasive. We're going to introduce that to you in just a few moments here. This is also for you right now if you find yourself frazzled. You're muddled, you're unclear, sometimes you're just not certain. Like, you know what you want to say, but when you get going, you get excited. I know, you're like, Shay, you're preaching to the choir. Yeah, I too get excited. So you get excited, you forget some of the, not the main points, but some of the framework that can help land the point, help give them a revelation, and help them walk away and take more action. So this is for you. Too frazzled, muddled, or sometimes you're like, I'm not sure if I'm as clear as I possibly could be, Shay. Or maybe you're thinking it's just my time. You're already professional. You're amazing. You're incredible. But it's like, it's my time to do a deeper dive in storytelling. Now, I remember myself, it was during the pandemic, which, for all of us was a major shift. And I made a decision during that time, during the pandemic, because I said, I'm going to learn one skill. We're stuck in the home. It was a big crisis going on. And I said, the one skill I'm going to learn is I'm going to master storytelling. Now, I didn't believe I could master storytelling in 3 months, in a year, even in a 2-year period. But I did hold the belief that I could get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. One of the things I like to share with folks is you don't have to do it big sometimes. Sometimes you can start small and you end up getting big results. And so hence I'm here now sharing something that I've been using now for a couple of years that I'm going to share with you. So I'm really excited. So maybe it's your time. I thought it was my time to pick up a new skill. I was excited about it. Maybe you're about as excited about it as I am, and you really just can't wait. So who is Shay Brown? Now, if you're watching now and unless you got a hold of this long lost video file somewhere, you already have an idea who I am, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. You might not even see this. But if you don't know who I am, let me just say I'm just like you. So many of you out there, you're in a relationship. I'm married, happily married, together 14 years. Married 4 years and in the best relationship of my life. So I'm just super excited about that. Maybe you're married. I'm also a son. So Mother Dear is still here, 75 years old, lives about 10 minutes from me, and I'm able to get a chance to go over there often, hang out with her, handle her affairs. Although she has her faculty, she's capable, but at 75, there's some challenges that are there. And so it's a blessing. So I'm a son, and maybe you're like me, maybe you're a parent. So I have 2 children. Maybe you're auntie, maybe you are uncle. But here's what I know about you. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're like me, a professional with to work every day. But what I do know about you is you're just like me. You're probably a kind human being who gets up every single day. You pay your taxes, you work on your gifts, you work on your talents, and you want to impact humanity now. Put that down in your notes. Impact humanity now. That's the hashtag. So if you want to connect because you can see me and I can't see you and we're just meeting for the first time and we haven't, head on over to Instagram. Now, that's just my jam. You can go over to IamShayBrown.com. Again, IamShayBrown.com. And let's you and I connect, by the way. Let's you and I connect at a much deeper level. I will say that my big why, and you might be wondering, Shay, why do you do this? Why do you slowing down to do this type of session that I'm doing now? And I want to give you that in 3 words. Impact humanity now. I reached a level where I'm at in my life where, I've been blessed. And so I said, what can we do to make a bigger difference? How can we work with impactpreneurs? How can we work with purpose-drivenpreneurs who want to use their gifts and talents to fund social causes that they believe in the world? And they want to make this world a better place. Yes, I get it. You have to have financial stability, and maybe you reach that, and that's cool. And maybe you reach financial independence. That's better. But the big why I get up every single day now is so that we can make someone else's life better. And I don't believe I have to leave a legacy. I believe I can live my legacy now. So that's my big why. So I'm gonna be sharing that with you. Again, that's gonna take a minute or two of these. I mean, some of you, you're old friends, right? So it's good to see you again. And some of you are meeting me for the very, very, very first time. The day my life changed. And again, it's not gonna be stories about me, just about, I don't know, a minute or two or three. Hopefully we're coming right up on the training. But again, in case you're just meeting me for the first time, the day my life changed. So there I was, third grade, Miss Kurt's class. And she called us to the front of the room because we were doing our reading assignments and we're supposed to stand in front of the room and we're supposed to share what we've learned in our reading assignment. And I stand up again and I can hear what I'm about to say. I can even see the words, but I struggle to get the words out. My mouth is opening. I can hear it, but it's not coming out. And the kids, being kids, obviously, they're laughing and pointing. And it wasn't the first time that happened to me. So I felt bad, but I didn't really feel as bad as I felt like a year ago. All right. A year or two ago, I felt really bad. Now I'm kind of used to this. And it was at that moment that she takes me down to the principal's office. The principal calls my mom. Mom comes in. They have a conversation with me in the office. They determine I have a problem. I'm a severe stuttering problem. I need to go to these special classes because I'm not like everybody else. I'm home, sitting in a seat with Mother dear. And Mother looks over at me and says, don't worry, it's not a big deal. Now I'm only in the third grade, 10, 11 years old. I'm thinking, no, it's a big deal. I had to leave school early. People are laughing at me. They called you to the principal's office. We left. I didn't go back to class. And I'm going to another class. There's something wrong. I said, no, there's something wrong. She says, no, there isn't. And this is what Mother dear told me. She says, look, I want you to know that you don't have a problem. You're just smarter than everybody else. So when you're trying to think, your brain can't function and get the words out as fast as you're thinking. And you've got to slow down. Now, it was in that moment that I actually bought into that I was just as smart and bright as anyone else. We just had this one little problem. Well, I can't get things out as fast. So what did I do? I decided to step back and I listened to Mother dear. And it wasn't until I got into the 12th grade that I learned that Mother dear lied to me, okay? It wasn't true, Mother, not at all. I did have a severe stuttering problem. If you know me, even today, I still talk fast today because of that. But here's the point, and here's how my life changed. And here's the message to you. Sometimes you need someone else to believe in you before you believe in yourself. So the fact that she believed in me, and I believe that I went on to do some things that I probably would never have done if I thought I had a problem and I wasn't like everybody else. And that's what I want to share with you today. As you go through this with us, and I'm going to teach these techniques, I want you to know you're like everybody else. You'll be just fine. You have what it takes. You're amazing. You're already incredible. Whether you use the techniques or not, you're going to make a huge difference in the world. I'm a marathon runner. All that says is that I love to be consistent. I love this. I'm crazy. But 26.2 miles, I can tell you some stories, but that's not what this conversation is about. But I want you to know that I have a hobby. So outside of being an entrepreneur and outside of being a husband, I enjoy running. It's free. I've learned so many lessons. But the number one lesson I learned that I want to share with you when I ran this marathon, particularly in Washington, D.C., is that you've got to keep putting one foot in front of the other foot in front of the other foot. And although you may not come in first place, the fact that you finish, and my hand's up right now. I wasn't in first place, by the way. I don't know what number I was. There was 25,000 people out there. Well, my number is 4,000 or something. But my hand's up and I'm cheering because I finished. And that's what's going to happen with you as you go through this. You're going to go right through this. You're going to finish this. And you're going to finish stronger. The three things I'm focused on in my life right now are just my health. That allows me to be here with you. And how important is that? My happiness. I want to be happy. I think every day is a vacation day when you're hitting your sales goals, obviously. But I also believe when you're doing what you want to do. And I'm focused on my wealth. And wealth is about money. So don't twist that, by the way. But it's also about being wealthy in your mental wealth, being wealthy in how you treat others, and being wealthy in how you can impact humanity now. Just a little about me for those folks that meet me for the first time. I'm glad you're here. We're going to jump. I think I don't even have this thing here in front of me. I'm trying to get there. We're going to jump into some of the training. What I'm most proud about is when I get a chance to open up Instagram or I open up Facebook and I'll tell you about Carol. And Carol was someone who just didn't see herself not only in front of the camera, but really sharing some things about her. Just like me, I didn't want to share a lot of things about myself. She implemented this formula I'm about to share with you now, the ACRE formula. And as a result, when I go to Instagram and I see her talking about what's going on with her two daughters, it just warms my heart. And I wish I could say I'm most proud of things I've accomplished, and I've been blessed to do that, but it's being given this special gift to help other folks be able to communicate their message, be able to communicate their expertise, be able to communicate their failures, be able to communicate lessons they've learned in life and business that do so much good for the world. So that's what I'm most proud of. Now we're going to get into the training that you showed up for, right? The real reason that you're here at the end of the day, and that is creative storytelling, the 4-step formula to bring your content to life. So nothing beats a story, obviously, but when you can make it creative and then you can connect in a way that's different and they walk away, well, then your content, it comes to life. So we'll be talking about the 4-step ACRE formula. The 4-step ACRE formula. So let me give you what it is first, then I'll break it down. So for all the students that this is what you showed up for, you couldn't wait to get here, get your paper out, get your pen out, take some notes. Something I got from a lady by the name of Glow Graphics. And Glow Autonomo is an amazing person. I met her through the Tony Robbins Mastermind. And with her training, I said, wow, I like that. That's good. Now, what if I took the Shay Brown? Because, I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation. I have my AARP card. So, I got remixed versions on everything, right? And I said, what if we took this and we was able to share it in a different light and use it in the digital storytelling world? What if we could use it in story selling? What if we could use it to advance our business and share how problems exist on the planet and how we're solving these problems? So that's the genesis of where I got it from. Here's what it means to you. Let me break it down to the Shay Brown. ACRE is an acronym. It stands for authenticity. It stands for C, stands for confrontation. The R stands for revelation, and the E stands for evolution. So as you're telling a story, the magic comes in when you can insert certain formulas into the stories that bring it to life. Okay, let's break that thing down. Let's share it with you as we go through this now. As we do that, the first one is authentic. Authenticity. Now, there's nothing like grabbing a story that's just very personal to you. Why is that? Well, it's your story. And when you tell someone else's story, you might be able to tell it, but it doesn't have that same effect, right? Even if you land the same points, even if you memorize it. But when it's your story, it gives your perspective. And one of the things I say is that people pay for your perspective. Give you an example. Today I shared a story that's very personal to me. It's the end of the year. I'm going through this question of what's worked and what's worked well. And I'm looking at my Audible. I'm on my phone. I'm looking at my Audible, see how many books I've read. And Jay, you read 14 books this year. I'm like, that's it? As much as I travel, as much as I run, as much as I go to the gym, I'm always listening to an Audible book. But what I learned is I was beating myself up and saying, God, this is horrible. You know what I learned out of that? Is that it wasn't about the books. It was that I'd read some of the books 2, 3, 4 times, 12-week year, never finished. I mean, Atomic Habits, those books I listened to second and third and fourth time, and some of the chapters many times. So I was buried in my subconscious mind. Here's the point I make to you. It's not about reading 100 books. It's about reading the books and getting the values and the lessons you can implement and use to change your life. Now that's the perspective. That's my story. I mean, someone else may have done the same thing, but now you have my perspective. So in every story, you want to start off by being authentic, right? And you don't want to give away the punchline. I gave an example up front because I'm going to break that story down so you see what I did. So I gave it to you up front, but the essence of it is Shay Brown sitting down, looking at his Audible book and trying to assess what's working this year and what's not working. Got my perspective. The C stands for confrontation. And in any story, the hero has to come across something, right? In any story that you read, any book. But the confrontation could be tension. It could be a pain point. It could be a struggle. So in this case, when I said, oh, I'm looking at my goals, it was what? There was some tension there. It was a pain point. I felt bad, pain point. And so I'm thinking to myself, last year hadn't been the best year, right? Confrontation. So think about yourself in a 1-minute story, 2-minute story, 20-minute story. Authenticity, and then what's the confrontation? What's the adversity? What's the part that brings people in? And why do you do that? Because here in America, I believe America, well, they love a comeback story. And so now the hero is challenged. And in this case, maybe you're the hero. You're the hero of the story, so you've had some confrontation or struggle. A, be authentic. 2, always say, what's the confrontation? Now, the R and the E to me would just took it to a whole nother level for me. It really did. Because that was something I wasn't doing. I was pretty good at saying, here's what was going on. I was in Toastmasters, so there I was and put them right into the action. Really good sometimes even saying, here's the struggle. I struggled with going to the gym. I struggled in my relationships. I struggled being an effective communicator. But I wasn't good with the last part until now. And the last one is the R, or second to last one. The R is the revelation. Now, I didn't know this. And now when I'm telling you this, you're going to be listening to your favorite speaker or your mentor or someone that you follow on social media and be like, that's what they're doing. I never knew this. But the anchor was broke down so simple. And the R stands for revelation. Now here's the revelation when folks work with us at Easy Sales Hub, right? The revelation is what? We make things easy to understand and easy to execute. Easy to understand and easy to execute. So in this case, as I'm teaching this formula, revelation, you reveal a truth. I told you a truth, right? Hey, it's okay, and reveal to me that I don't have to read 16 books or 100 books. What if I read 3 books? But I read them over and over again and I get different distinctions and levels of understanding. Whoa, it's still been just as productive. Maybe it's a new perspective. One of the things I'm dealing with now is that my age at 55, I went back to the dentist and I decided I wanted to get something called Invisalign. Now, I had braces, authenticity, listen to me. I had braces at 30 years old as an adult, paid for braces, worn for several years. Dentist tells me, wear your retainer. Shay Brown doesn't wear his retainer. Now, I wasn't 12 years old. I wasn't in my 18 years old. I wasn't in my 20s. I'm in my 30s. And I said, I'm not wearing a retainer. I got too much, taking it in, taking it out. Well, several years later, there hasn't been a shifting on my teeth. I had a shift here and there. And I'm sitting in there, and he says, you know, I asked a question about Invisalign, which is invisible braces. I have them now. You can't see them. They're a tray in my mouth. But here's what he said to me. He said, you know, if it's something that's for you, what is it worth to you? And I said, you know, when you do something, it's priceless. Even if nobody ever sees it, it just makes me feel better. And isn't that how life is? Sometimes you do something because it makes you feel better. It gives you higher confidence. It gives you greater self-esteem. And no one has to know that. That's a new perspective. That's a lesson that someone else can take away from it. So I'm breaking it down and kind of sharing these little micro stories. And I didn't have anything written down. I don't have any notes below here or nothing of that nature. I'm just speaking from the heart. And I hope you can hear my heart here. But it's so true. Now, I'm a little vulnerable, obviously, because I'm like, well, yeah, I got this Invisalign. It's only been, I think this is my 3rd tray at the time of this one. So you put a new tray in every 10 days. But hey, I learned a lesson. So what is the revelation that you have? What is the big takeaway? What is the big aha? And the audience hears your revelation. You're not preaching to them yet. Now remember, this is creative storytelling. This is just one formula of many that we're going to teach, but it's called Anchor. Very easy to follow. If you look at my Facebook posts or even my conversations, you'll see some of that formula many times woven in. And then the last one is the evolution. And the evolution really is, how do you evolve? So it's one thing to say, you know what, I went through this situation with the books. Now the question is, on the other end, once I had the revelation, what's the evolution that I or anyone else can move towards? And in creative storytelling, the evolution can be whatever you want it. In my case, it was, hey, I'm not going to worry about 100 books no more. I'm not going to worry about hanging out with my friends and say, well, what book did you read this month? You're reading the same book. Ha, ha, ha. I've just read 5 other books. And they rattle off titles and bios and other things. And they're, readers are leaders, and they're onto it. And I'm like, oh man, I must be behind. I'm on the slow bus again. They put me in another class. But no. The evolution is the evolved sense of thinking. The evolution is a paradigm shift in yourself, in your life. It's a whole nother perspective. And my perspective is now, it's okay. It's okay as long as it works for me. So in your story, which is an acre long, if we were doing a recap, we would want to make sure that your story has 4 main components. Authentic, unique to you. A confrontation. So it's your story, your perspective. It has some tension, it has some pain points, it has a struggle. It has something in there that it's just not a great day, right? So if I told you the exact same story of me going over my goals, and I woke up this morning and I decided I'm going to write down all the things I've learned this year. And I was writing all the things I learned this year. I said, well, I've got to improve my health, and I've got to save more money, and I've got to spend more time with the wife. Those are great. Those are great. But what if I said, no, I woke up this morning and I look back and I want to know, how can I keep my marriage as if we had just met, as if we were in high school, the girl that I was after in high school? Or what are some things I can do so I still always have that feelings and those thoughts, and some things we could do together? That's a whole nother point, because now there's some tensions, like, what is it? What's the breakthrough? And so you want to have that when it makes sense. And then the revelation. The revelation is, I was talking about things with my wife, is that we found that small things are just fine. We go out to restaurants, we used to order anything we wanted on the menu, and God's blessed us to be able to do that. And now we go and we say, well, yeah, we're hungry, but let's enjoy the atmosphere. Let's enjoy the moment. Let's enjoy being here and being together. Isn't that a little different? Isn't that a revelation? Isn't that a truth? Isn't that a new perspective? Isn't that a lesson that anyone can take away? Is, wherever you are, be satisfied. It doesn't mean that you don't go for the big stuff. It just means wherever you are, be there. Be in the moment. Just enjoy that moment and be thankful that you have it. A little gratitude. That's a revelation. And then how do you evolve from that? Well, how do we evolve from that? Is we eat when we want to eat. And we don't. So we can still do it. We have options. And so that's it right there. I'm going to get into something special, and I'm going to share that bonus with you now. But before I do that, if you're watching right now, you're like, Shay, this is great. Shay, this is amazing. One, I want to get the notes. So we got this handout that we'll get to you that you can have. You want the slides because you want to have those in front of you as part of the notes. Got it. Text the word storytelling. Now, if you got a hold of this, whether it's inside of the membership portal or somehow someone shared this video with you and you got your hands on this long lost file, text the word storytelling right now. That's the key. And that means you have an interest in creative storytelling, in mastering storytelling, and just getting better at what you're already doing. Text the word storytelling to 202-270-1662. Again, 202-270-1662. Now, when you text the word storytelling to 202-270-1662, include your first name so I know who you are. Include your last name. That's important because it might be more than one John, more than one Carol, more than one Armstrong. And then include your best email. So some of you want us just to text this to you right away. You're going to get it on your phone. You're going to go over the notes. This is going to be a quick reminder when you go in and do your recordings or when you're speaking. And then others of you want to get an email so you can save it to that private file that's in the cloud that you can use at another time. Or if you're out there and you're an entrepreneur, you're like, Shay, I want to use this in my sales funnels. Shay, I want to use storytelling in my lead generation. Shay, I want to use creative storytelling inside of my marketing. I just want to teach it to my clients. If that's you, we put together something called the Evergreen Revenue Playbook. We're going to have the 2.0 edition. Do me a favor, text the word playbook. Just text the word playbook. Text the word playbook to 202-270-1662. And just like it says here, include your first name, include your last name, include your best contact number. I'm requiring that. And we'll send you a link. You can go out to the link, put your information in, and you can get instant access to the 7 proven simple strategies to skyrocket your revenue fast. And here's the cool news: without your labor. Doesn't that sound good? Skyrocket your revenue fast without your labor. Now, You might be thinking, well, Shay, for me to change the way I've been telling stories, for me to do something different, I'm a little nervous. It's a little nervous. I don't want to mess anything up. And I've got some pretty important gigs in front of me, okay? Here's what I would tell you. Start small. I know. Start small. One of my favorite things I like to say is do little things well and get big results. Do small things well and get big results. So start small. Start scared, okay? Look, when I first started changing, even doing my writing, people would send me notes sometimes. I misspell things. I didn't have the right tense in the words because I'm not a writer. That's not my gig. But I was trying to express myself. And I don't think they were being negative. Well, maybe a few were. But they were trying to help me out. So start scared. I know that. But here, above all things, start. Implement the formula in your everyday business. So here's what I know about storytelling. I'm going to close. These are just some ideas. Some of you are going to text the word in. You're going to get everything you need. But here's what I know for sure about creative storytelling. Go over a couple of points. If you got your phone out, you might want to take a picture of it. But the first one that I will mention is, number one, stories create purpose and drive action. So when you're speaking, at the end of the day, one of the reasons you're having a conversation, one of the reasons you're doing a training, one of the reasons you're sharing your backstory or sharing your failures or sharing lessons you learned or sharing your expertise or just sharing your message is so it creates them to drive action. Stories sell, facts tell. I'm not getting to all those jingles, but that's number one. So you want to drive action. You want to drive action. Like right now, I don't want you to be excited and motivated and pumped up. I want you to walk away and say, whoa, I can do that. Easy Sales Hub. Easy to understand, easy to execute. Number two is stories transfer values and beliefs. So here's what's really cool. You can take a value and through the story, they see themselves as a character, as third-party endorsement or social proofing. They see something there, and as a result, what do? They start believing. And what is the law of belief anyway? The law of belief is whatever you tell yourself over and over again, you will eventually believe. Number three, stories engage the audience beyond just the facts. And when you're speaking, there's a couple of things that you're looking to do. They call the 3 E's, right? You're looking to engage the audience. You're looking to entertain the audience. In many cases, you're looking to educate the audience. So it's through your conversation, through the interaction. If you do all three of those, the magic really takes place. And I'm not sharing stories right now. I'm just sharing some of the facts just so you could, I want you to have these and be able to use these. The next one, as we're going through here, stories connect people and create brand loyalty. So for all of my entrepreneurs out there that have to use something like this for your backstory, they have to use something like this to talk about how failures have led you to where you are now. For those that have to use this to fill your funnels, to sell your products, to scale your business. Some folks use these type of stories to connect and create loyalty when they've been struggling to attract clients who actually have the money, or you're building a pipeline of leads, the people who can turn into buyers. The fastest buyers are people who have brand loyalty. But my favorite, if you come down the home stretch, are stories provide a relevancy, and set the context. They frame the conversation, and stories are going to increase your team's efficiency and engagement. In fact, they'll be telling the company stories, right? You'll be doing what you're doing, and they're walking around saying, did you know this? Did you know that? Well, this company, this is what we do. This is what we believe. And it's all because of the stories that they told. And they'll share those. So now they're more efficient, they're more effective, you're able to serve more people, they're more engaged, ideas flow. Oh, it's just amazing. It's incredible. At the end of the day, it's what sets you apart from everyone. And data is not always memorable. Very seldom when someone got up afterwards and said, you said this, and they just took the data from what was going on. But I've seen folks in other areas, and they've told the story of my divorce. They've told the story of my first customer, and losing a big contract. They told the story of us doing something called the Making of an Entrepreneur. And the very first session, we didn't get the audio right. And the client had to come all the way back in, which we paid for, and do it all over again. So those stories are memorable, and embedded in them are lessons, embedded in them are perspectives, embedded in them is how you evolve. So here's the deal. How are you going to step up your game in the area of stories? Those stories, number 8, will support decision making, and business decisions are not purely all about logic. You base it on the stories. And stories, at the end of the day, they just stick. I just want to share a few thoughts with you right now as we close out. They stick. Stories are memorable and they stick. Stories are, put down your notes, they're memorable and they stick. And isn't that what you want? The audience to walk away with it. And if you're an entrepreneur like me, you're always looking for a competitive advantage. So in many cases, your competition right now is not listening to a session like this. Your competition is not working on creative storytelling right now. Your competition is not in a conversation with someone at my level that really gets into story selling through digital storytelling. And the good news is you are. You're here. You showed up. And part of life is just showing up. So let me just acknowledge you if I can for the champion that you are. Let me just acknowledge you if I can for the winner that you are. Let me just acknowledge you for the person that you are right now. If you haven't texted the word playbook because you want to build your business, you're looking to generate revenue, looking to reduce your labor, take back your time, and have the freedom to do the things you want to do. Storytelling is one of the things that will be embedded and woven through your sales funnels. Do me a favor, text the word playbook, text the word playbook, text the word playbook to 202-270-1662. Again, 202-270-1662. When you text the word playbook, include your first name. So, well, I know who you are. Include your last name. That's going to be important. So first name, last name, and your best email, and we'll send you everything that you need over to you. I close with the saying that I'm proud of you. You've made it. You made it through this conversation. I'm encouraged to go back and listen to this training session a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. Go back and listen to this 7 times. Even if you forward it right to the section that's important to you, but go back and listen to at least 7 times a day for the next 7 days. So yeah, you're gonna take this video and you're gonna go back and you might listen to the whole segment. You might listen to a part of it. Listen to it 7 times a day for the next 7 days. 7 times a day for the next 7 days. And maybe you've had this experience. Maybe you've been in your car, driving down the road, and all of a sudden your favorite song comes on the radio. And you start singing along with your favorite song. Now here's the question. When did you ever decide you wanted to learn the words to the song? The answer is probably never. But because you heard it over and over and over again, those words will burn into your subconscious mind. And that's what's going to happen here. You'll be somewhere. You'll be sharing, you'll be putting together your presentation and of all your brilliance that you already have. And there'll be that creative element, there'll be that one piece, there'll be the one story you're trying to add in. And here's what I do know, put this in your notes, less is more, less is more, less is more. So you're looking at how do I make this story a little less than what it is, but still more powerful and more impactful. And this one formula, the ACRE 4-step formula, well, it pops in your mind. Well, it's top of mind to you. And when it's top of mind to you, well, you're just more likely to execute. And hence, you have the creative storytelling 4-step ACRE formula to bring your content to life. So with that being said, for those that have connected with me on Instagram, my Instagram is I am Shay Brown. For those that connect with me on social media, type in Shay Brown. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Once again, you're amazing. You're incredible. And I know one thing sure about you. Your best is still yet to come. So stay hungry. Go after your dreams with everything you got, as if you're still a freshman, as if you're still trying out for a team, as if you're a rookie, but also stay humble. Continue to give, continue to serve, continue to hashtag impact humanity now. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless. I wish you success. Peace. I'm out.